That could be an avatar. You wouldn't even know.
I could be black.
He is.
Yeah, it's good.
What is up, y'all? My name is Jason. This is Forrest. I'm a filmmaker. He's an investor.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pod.ai. Damn, I had something. I had something.
Was it about submarines blowing up?
Well, you know what? Let's just jump into the submarine talk because
Let's talk about the elephant in the ocean.
the elephant in the ocean under 4,500 psi of pressure.
So what, if you took an elephant to where these people went, they would also implode.
Yeah,
It's terrible to think about, actually. I don't know how you get an elephant down there.
it's that everybody on the internet is just jokes.
Dude.
Nobody. There's not. I haven't seen this. Like I've seen maybe like 2 or 3 people that are like, oh, rest in peace. Like,
Yeah.
who are just like sentimental to the fact that people just died.
They're in a few pieces. I think the thing is with social media today, we have access to so much tragedy and like legitimate tragedy, like all the shootings, like Sandy Hook, the other ones, all the different school shooting stuff. Like there's so much like evil tragedy in the world that when like billionaires, who no one have heard of, by the way,
Right.
and like
Exactly.
I don't like hate people by default because they're billionaires, but it's just like, you know, it's really hard to empathize with people who could have done anything.
And decided to do that.
Yeah, and just like didn't do their homework. And it's just like, why are you even cutting corners?
It was just blind arrogance, though. Because
They
like
have
he was
$1 billion.
exactly. He literally went. He was like, "Oh, I feel like safety regulations are holding us back from a lot of innovation." I'm like, no, safety regulations would have held you back from exploding.
Yeah. And what's crazy about safety regulations in these regards is most regulations are made after the fact, which means they've already imploded many other submarines. They've cracked holes. They've had failed ballast. All the different regulations that he probably cited all happened because something broke before. Like that's how regulations get created, guys. Like humans, governments especially, are really bad at like doing preemptive regulating. Like that's how our financial markets too. Like every law we have is because like, oh, someone abused this.
Somebody
We should not.
abused
And it-
some sort of loophole in the system, and they had to close that loophole.
Right. Seatbelts didn't come with cars. Like we added we added seatbelts. It's like,
No, the worst
people's
part is-
brains are exploding on the dashboards when they
Even
hit a wall at
airbags.
30 miles an hour.
Even airbags, dude. There used to only be an airbag for the driver, so you would crash and be like, "My family."
I say, right? Like I should be dead. I don't.
Shout out to Bill Burr for that joke. I did not. That was not an original, but hilarious nonetheless.
Funny as shit. I mean,
You crash the car, your whole family goes flying through the fucking windshield. Oh my
dude,
god.
that is crazy.
So I was on TikTok the other day, and everybody's talking about the submarine, obviously. And Hank Green, shout out to Hank Green, was talking about, people were like, "Oh, will they ever like find the bodies?"
Yeah.
And he put this in the most eloquent way I've ever heard something like this described. He's like, when that implosion happened, their bodies were heated to the temperature of the surface of the sun. At that point, they were no longer biology; they were just physics.
Yeah, they
Because that happened like immediately.
died, guys.
All at once, they turned into liquid. That must be a interesting experience. There was no experience though. Their body was liquid before their brain even had time to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, they just ceased to exist. Hopefully, it was instantaneous. Hopefully, there wasn't like some other scenario no one's thought of. I mean, and people do empathize to that regard. Someone else put it. I saw another TikTok girl. She's like, "Why do people not care?" And it's like, all these people like they're trying to get all these search craft to go find these people because they're lost undersea. And she was like, there was this boat with refugees with like 40 people on it.
No, it was like 700 fucking people on that boat.
And like no one, and the only reason they died was because no one just went to like get them, like no one wanted to like give asylum to these people.
Yeah.
Right? So you had like,
And mind you, like they were being like monitored.
Yeah, so like
Like
they knew
we all
they
knew
were-
that they were out there.
Yeah, just
Everybody
dying.
knew they were out there, and then suddenly they weren't.
but because they're poor and probably dirty, because they're poor and speaking a language that people didn't like or empathize with, and I didn't even know about it, right? So like the media chose to like put out the sad story of these billionaires stuck underwater, but then it's just like unless you really look at other sources, like you wouldn't know about these refugees.
I think Obama made a statement on that too. I saw a video where Obama was talking about like how we're talking about like this billionaire and 4 other people that have gone missing, but like there's 700 people on a boat that sank like 2 days before.
Right. So it's just like
It's all fucked.
I'm a humanitarian, and that's a lot of people. I think of people as like potential. So it's like that's just like a lot of potential lives, ideas, creativity, art that doesn't get to exist because we let all those people die. And like, are the billionaires doing anything? Any of that? I don't know where you guys think art comes from, or if you don't know where art comes from, it doesn't come from billionaires. Like,
I mean, it's just such a textbook example of like the kind of person that it takes to become a billionaire. Like just blatant arrogance, blatant disregard for like anything outside of their own self-interest. Like it takes that kind of person to get that wealthy. You know what I mean? Either that or you get born into old money, but then, arrogance breeds arrogance. So
yeah, if you were born into a billionaire family, like you have no idea what money is. Money doesn't exist to you. For anyone who doesn't know or hasn't thought about how much a billion is, a billion is 1,000 million, right? Is it 1,000 million?
yeah.
Yeah, it's 1,000 million. It's early for some reason. I was like, why doesn't that sound right? It's 1,000 million. So $1 million is a lot. $100 million is a lot. $100 million is an insane amount of money.
$100 million. Let me put this in perspective for you. $100 million means for every year that you have been on this planet, or that you will be on this planet, for like those of us that get to live, 100 years, that means $1 million. Like a lot of people, if you live paycheck to paycheck, or if you have a job, you work for a salary, you can't even understand the concept of having $1 million in 1 year. Now imagine you get to 100 million, you can pay yourself $1 million for the rest of for a year for the rest of your life. There's no reason to work anymore after that.
And you would never run out of money. You know why? Because you just put it in the bank at like 3% interest. And so your 100 million is making you $3 million a year.
No, 100. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
And this is why when people understand,
Jesus Christ.
you wonder why this is totally shifting, but once you have enough money, guys, it grows. Money grows, right? So you accumulate enough real estate, whatever. If you have your 100 million in real estate, you're doing more than 3% a year, right? So if you have $1 billion, you're doing, what's 3% of 1,000? 30. Yeah, let's just say you're the worst billionaire ever, and you've got your $1 billion invested, and you're only making 3% a year on your $1 billion. You're making $30 million a year, which means if you don't spend
completely passive,
right? So you can do shit like go explore submarines, but they're probably making a lot more than that, right? The stock market was doing 10% a year. They have people who are investing in businesses. Right, so you're doing a lot more than that. You cannot burn through that money, and it just grows. Which means if you don't burn through that money, that money just gets added to your stockpile, and so you're making $31 million next year. Then 30, and just keeps growing and growing.
And there's another misconception about the whole like billionaire thing, which is like, obviously, when you're a billionaire, you're not 99.999999% of the time. You don't have $1 billion in like a bank account somewhere. Like you have $1 billion worth of assets. So you might have a company that's valued at 250 million here. You might have, several hundred million worth of real estate. You might have X, Y, and Z, a bunch of assets that accumulate into $1 billion worth, like net worth. And net worth is a weird thing even in and of itself, but even still, like if you have $250,000 or let's say you have $250 million worth of real estate. You got $250 million worth of real estate. And real estate, that market has a very, very high margin for return. So, just $250 million, you're set for several lifetimes, like over and over and over, like generations worth of your lineage doesn't have to work ever again. So I want to go back to the whole, submarine thing and people's like empathy towards the situation is like the working class, at least, or the shrinking middle class and the poor class.
Wait, I'm trying to check your
audio levels.
You're on 1. I'm on 3.
Oh,
okay. I was so confused. Go continue though.
But anyway, so the middle class, lower class, we are so like desensitized to the plight of, because like pretty much any rational thinking person can think, oh, if I had $1 billion, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Or,
it's like when you just see
corners, I would have found the nicest sub.
Exactly.
Or called James Cameron.
$1 billion.
Bro, that's the
James Cameron would have been hyped to go see the Titanic again.
This is the craziest thing. Like, people have done this trip many times. And have you seen all the other things? Like, James Cameron was like, yeah, people in this community knew about these guys. Everyone was telling them not to cut corners.
And they did it anyway.
And they just, like...
on a fucking dollar store Xbox controller.
So many reasons. And here's the thing, too. I have friends, too, who are into, like, high-risk activities. And, like, if they died doing those activities, I'd be sad that they died. But I'd be like, sounds about right. Like, I just know, like, people with cars and shit like that. So it's just like,
at what point do we say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes?
That's right? It exactly. So it's like, I get that they're people like that family and get that, but it's like, it's probably not the first dumb thing that they've done. It was
so easily preventable.
Yeah.
Especially if you have $1 billion fucking dollars. So it's like, if it was that easily preventable, I can't feel bad for you for being like a fully functioning adult and making an idiot decision like that.
They're not
like,
fully functioning anymore.
They're not.
They're mush.
They no longer exist. That's so crazy.
They're mush.
They ceased to exist. Like, instantaneously just ceased to exist. Yeah. It's like being sucked into a black hole. It's like damn near the same experience.
Do you think they're gonna be like reborn as dolphins or something?
The irony.
Just the billionaire dolphins.
Nah,
like little top hats.
I wonder, like, all right,
swimming around the ocean. Timothy.
This is gonna be a hard. This is gonna be a hard shift, but like on the concept of like an afterlife, right? So when you die, right, your brain releases DMT, and a lot of people say that
it makes you think you're a dolphin.
Exactly. So a lot of people say that like that DMT experience is like your soul crossing over to the other side. So in a situation where you die so fast that your brain doesn't get the opportunity to release that DMT, if there is an afterlife, did they make it?
I don't know. It's probably sudden. There's like, oh shit, what? I'm in a valley of grass and I was just underwater. Some guy walks up and it's like, hey, welcome to the afterlife. He's like, fuck.
Damn.
Literally,
I'll just throw up the Kendrick Lamar. Damn.
Yeah, that would.
It's like those early TikTok videos where like, fucking. You remember when the whole Black Lives Matter thing was going on and people were just making memes about like license or registration, and then you go reach for your shit and you look back up and just you're in heaven, just like,
right. What the fuck? Yeah, bro, that's some wild shit. I don't know, man. I do not know. I've done ketamine before though, and that's kind of like crossing over.
Special K.
But yeah, I did it in like a lab environment though. For any of you trying to get mad at me, and even if I didn't, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I'll do this shit outside. Okay, do ketamine.
Do it right now.
Yeah, we got K. We're doing it right now.
I'll buy it off you right now if you got it.
We're on K. But nah, I can definitely see how that drug I think I've done DMT as well, like as a kid. I think when I was 16.
16 years old doing a DMT trip?
I did a lot of drugs at that time of my life. When I was 16, dude, and this is why I leveled off quite a bit older in life. So like when I was 14, let me back this up. I had a best friend. His name was Tanner. He's like a brother to me. Spent every day with this motherfucker. Like I say every day, we spent every day together, right? Either I was at his house or he was at mine. Spent a lot of time at his house though, because his dad worked in the Gulf of Mexico. His mom, great lady, chain smoker. She died of lung cancer like right before we went to high school. We found out she had lung cancer because she was a chain smoker. Died like 6 months later. It was like immediate. So we're all depressed. And like, what are we gonna do? We have a free house because his dad is in the Gulf of Mexico working on an oil rig. We'll just party and do drugs.
Oil rig work is crazy.
All of high school. It is crazy. I think he was like back office type shit though. But
no matter, have you seen like videos of those fucking oil rigs like just out in the ocean, dude?
It's like a little mini city thing.
I don't know that there's an amount of money you could pay me to work that job.
Well, he was doing all right. I mean, we all suspected that this man had another family because he was never home. Like he would come home for like a weekend, months at a time. So like, and he would just send my friend Tanner money. So it was just fucked up. But we would just spend, bro, my high school years, like we were unsupervised and we were all smart kids. Like it was a combo mix of like the kids who all scored the highest on like the state testing, which we did at the time. My boy Tanner got a 35 on the ACT, if you're familiar with the ACT. I did a 33. Then all of our friends were all nerds. But then we loved to party. So we never got caught for anything. Like nothing, bro. And we did a lot of illegal activities. And for anyone who wants to investigate this is a joke. But we did a lot of illegal activities. And yeah, a lot of drugs. We were buying drugs. We were selling drugs.
What a time to be alive.
It was a good time, dude. We were blowing shit up. I tell you about the time we buried this explosive in his backyard.
What did you make the fucking? No, you didn't tell me about this. What did you make the fucking explosive out of?
I'm not gonna say that because I might get banned on YouTube. But we're a bunch of smart kids, and we knew how to make explosives out of just like raw materials. So we would spend, we would like go to the park and like have these little like we essentially like make little pipe bombs.
We just talked about like play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying, bro. But I had friends. But I was saying I had friends. I wasn't just like
Jesus Christ.
But we would make like pipe bombs and other things like that, right? Napalm, stuff like that. And
shit, you might get striked off YouTube for just that sentence.
It's a joke. So we would go to the park and like blow up like monitors and stuff like that. We blew up Bibles, which is always awesome. Blowing up books is awesome because the paper scatter in the sky and it's like rains down like fire.
Confetti.
Yeah.
Flaming confetti.
But one day we're like, yo, we should bury one. And we had this, it was pretty big. It was probably like this big, right? This little pipe bomb. Buried it, right? Like a foot. Not that deep at all. And one of the kids who used to hang out with us, actually, he died of cancer. That was sad. We blew his eyebrows off one time. This motherfucker, yeah. We lit a creek on fire, and we're running away. This motherfucker had no facial hair, bro. His eyebrows were gone.
This is the reason that people come to America, bro. Because only here do we get to tell these kinds of fucking stories.
I grew up in the Midwest, but anyways, what was I talking? Oh yeah, we buried this pipe bomb, bro. So we had like these bomb making sessions where we'd sit in the living room, had all these bags of shit, and we would just chat because we had to make it by hand, so we like breaking apart like fireworks and other random shit, like other materials that we bought, and like repacking it into other things. So we bury one after like a 4-hour session. Like, let's see what happens in his backyard in the middle of the neighborhood, which is a terrible idea. And it's like in suburbia, right? We live in suburbia, out in the Midwest, Southern Illinois. We light it. We're sitting up on the balcony, you know, and it's a big backyard. So we're sitting up on his second floor balcony looking like, what's going to happen? Boom. Bro, the deck shook. All the windows shook. It sounded like someone, like, literally we were at war. Like, burying it was the worst idea. because it just reverberated through the entire neighborhood. So we're looking out, and all we see suddenly is doors opening from every single
Every house in the neighborhood.
Every single house. I'm not shitting you. So we're in the backyard, right? And we're like, oh fuck, and there's smoke coming out from his backyard.
I just need to show you this so that you can have an idea of how this could have gone if you guys had gotten anywhere near a gas line. Watch this house.
See this shit. Oh,
the roof.
What the fuck? Yeah, we definitely.
That's how that could have gone, because y'all don't know where the gas lines are for that fucking crib,
bro. We
oh my god,
we made a mistake.
So I'm listening to that. I've obviously seen that video, so I'm listening to that story this whole time. I'm like, dog,
bro. Yeah, we were crazy.
I have no idea how close y'all were to death, but it was probably pretty goddamn close.
I run out. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm out. So I run out to my front yard. I got my Ford Taurus parked up there. I was driving at the time. I run out, and in the front, bro, everybody. I'm talking about everybody in the neighborhood is out. Like figuring out what the fuck happened, because it sounds like we just got bombed by Russia or some shit. Like, it was that loud, bro. It shook. The thing is, it shook every house. It was like it was like boom, and we were like, God, we fucked up. We fucked up.
We gotta go.
I hopped in the whip, bro. I peeled out. I was like, yo, don't fucking call me. I haven't been here. And we literally laid low for like 3 weeks. We didn't fucking talk about it. We look at each other at school. Nothing. It was automatic too. We didn't say shit, bros. So that was my high school, bros. That partying, all types of.
I'm trying to imagine like shit, how many fucking calls went into your local police department on that day of like, we just heard this massive explosion. We don't know what it is,
bro. When we lit this creek on fire,
it shook my house. You lit a creek on fire?
Yeah. So there's this creek in the park, right? We're like, yo, we should just pour gasoline in the creek, light it on fire, see what happens. This is a joke.
You guys, bro, my friends were nowhere near as destructive. What is wrong with y'all?
Dude. I mean, we were too smart, had too much free time. None of this sounds smart at all, but these are all really smart people, guys. Like, I'm telling you, like.
Did you ever make what do you call
spud cannon?
Spud cannon. There we go.
I already knew what you were thinking. Yeah,
that was one of the things that we did back in the day with my homies. So like we had this. So I lived in like this circular neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And right behind my house was this like big field where we all used to play football, baseball, like. All the kids in the neighborhood, like when I was growing up, this might sound archaic, but when I was growing up, we used to go outside. Anyway,
nice.
So I'm listening to your story and I'm like, we used to get into some shit, but I'm like, we didn't get into no shit like that. But this one time we were like, fuck it, we're gonna build this fucking spud cannon because we had seen it on like YouTube or some shit. And so we go in this field, and then now the field faces a line of houses, right?
Okay.
But on the other side, so you're either aiming towards houses or you're aiming towards Kendall Drive, like the main highway of like where we all lived.
Yeah.
So we were like, fuck, which direction do we aim this fucking thing? We were like, just straight up. And so we let it off, but we like kind of leaned towards like the houses side because we're like, if a potato hits a roof, it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh, you were shooting actual potatoes?
Yeah. It launches.
I don't think I've ever shot a potato.
Oh, no. And it was, I want to say the piece of like PVC pipe or whatever we used for it was like pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
And the potatoes we had for it were pretty fucking big.
Nice.
But, so we launched it, and it goes over the line of houses that we thought it was going to go. It goes over that to the next line of houses behind that one, which, like, we don't know anybody in that neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So we're all just like, oh, fuck. I wonder if that hit a house. So we get up to the second floor of my boy's house because he lived on that line of houses, right? So we get up to the second floor of his house and we just like look out to see if we can see like that other line that's behind it, right? So we're looking at all the roofs of like that second line of houses, and all we see is a fucking fat hole in somebody's roof.
Damn.
And I was just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So we all just like, obviously like, we're kids. We all just lay low, pretend nothing happened. But like,
Potatoes.
the thing is,
ran
we're
through
out in a
fucking
big
sky, dude.
fucking field where everybody can see us.
With
so
a
like
big-ass cannon.
any one person surrounding that field could see that we were out there fucking with like a big ass potato cannon. So like 2 weeks later, somebody comes knocking on my boy's house because we had all gone to his house after the shit, and
Yeah.
I guess somebody was looking out their window at what we were doing because people would always watch like if we were playing football or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And somebody looks out their window while we were doing that and saw what house we went to. So 2 weeks later, they knock on that door and they're like, "Hey, there's some cops coming into the neighborhood to ask some questions about a broken roof in the neighborhood next door.
Oh shit.
They want to ask you kids some questions." I
Left town.
was like, dog, I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm shitting bricks, mind you. I'm like probably like 14.
Yeah.
I'm shitting bricks. I've never even seen police in real life, much less fucking had to deal with like a cop interrogating us and shit. So cops come into the neighborhood. They talk to all of us kids, and they're just like, they let us off with like a warning and whatever. And then my boy's mom ended up having to pay like a couple grand to fix this family's roof or whatever. I never saw him again.
Damn, bro.
I think they moved. Like, I legit think, like, after that experience, like, his mom just picked him up and said, "Nah, we're out of here."
Parents are like, "You're not hanging out with these fucking hooligans."
I was like, dog, and that was my dog, my boy Chris, and I was like, to this day, I don't know what happened to him.
Damn,
I have
bro.
no idea. That was my boy. I used to chill with him, like, every day.
Still shooting potatoes today. Yeah, so we had spud guns, but I think we shot, like, a potato out of it maybe, like, first time, and then after that, we're like, yo, what else can we shoot out of this? So we also had a boy who used to build like custom. I don't know. We used to call him Burn Kid, but he used to build race cars like that were like
RC.
Yeah, but they were like gas powered, right? And one blew up, burned his whole face up, so his face was all fucked up. Call him Burn Kid.
That's a fucking horrible nickname.
It is. Motherfucker was burned up though. He's also an asshole. He tried to fight me once. It's crazy because I was doing martial arts. I've been doing martial arts for a long time at this time.
Oh, I got a hilarious story for that.
Sparring, like I was fighting like every week, and this kid was all mad and shit, and fucking I was like, bro, I'm gonna fuck you up. But before he tried to fight me, kid was smart. So we combined all of our smarts. We built some really powerful spud cannons, bro. We shot a screwdriver. So I had a really big screwdriver. It's like a foot long screwdriver, one that you use like almost like pry shit. We put this in the spud cannon. We just wrapped a bunch of tape around the handle, shot it. This thing went like halfway into a tree, bro. Shot a screwdriver into a fucking tree. The handle explodes, right? The screwdriver's just in the tree, like bent and shit. We were shooting like the pipe bombs that we built. We're like, yo, we should shoot a pipe bomb out of the spud cannon.
No, that's a legitimate. That's a mortar.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say that word.
Just drop it in. Thunk.
So we were shooting anything and everything. We shot nails out of that bitch. Yeah, we had a good time.
We all grew up as hooligans.
We had a good time. I just remember something fucked up too. So the kid who got his eyebrows blown off when we lit the creek on fire, the cops also came to figure out like, because if you from a mile away, there's just black smoke coming out of our neighborhood. Like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, and also as soon as we lit the creek on fire, we knew we fucked up because it was a massive fire. Oh shit, we're gonna burn down all these trees and shit. So we're like trying to put the fire out, but it's on the water, right? So there's a creek with like on both sides, it's like trees and foliage and shit, and there's a huge flame. We're like, oh shit! So we're like throwing rocks in the water, trying to splash the water around. It's the dumbest shit. Don't ever start a gas fire, guys. I can tell you from firsthand experience. As awesome as it may look, it's terrifying immediately after. So cops come, they find him. He takes the rap for the creek fire because his eyebrows burned off, and then dies of cancer a few years later. So that was fucked up. I really remember that when he talked about the cops. I was like, yo, yeah, he did take the rap for that.
Fuck.
So he's a homie.
R.I.P.
He's a homie.
R.I.P. Burnt Eyebrows Kid.
But dude, yeah, I have so many, like, I could write a book, fucking insane stories from high school. Once I went to college, I mellowed out because like I've been doing shit because I was unsupervised. You know, you go to college and like people are unsupervised, and so that's why college is crazy. Because all these kids are 18, they're horny, and they're living in a dorm.
You just letting the
so
testosterone roam free.
I had that, but I'd already been like wilding out for 4 years in high school, and I was on scholarship. I was like, well, I got to stop smoking and shit because I don't like fail a drug test. I was on a track scholarship. So I was just like, shit, I got to. So I mellowed way out in college. And then I turned up again. After I graduated, then I started partying again. But like college, bro, I was chilling because I was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" I was like, bro, like I've done so much crazy shit in fucking high school, bro. Like crazy shit.
You know what? I was talking to somebody about this last night. This is like I'm just gonna segue right out of the
Segu.
I was talking to somebody about this last night. So back in high school, there was this mall that I used to go to, and anybody that watches this episode that's from Miami will know what I'm talking about. It's called Sunset Place, and that was like the spot when I was like in middle school, high school. Like all the kids used to just go there and hang out, go to the movie theaters or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's just a fucking dead zone. Every shop in
Sound like a
there
mall.
dead. Nope, not a soul. It looks like a fucking ghost town.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to somebody about this last night, and I was like, all right, where the fuck do we go from here? Because, like, retail shopping is going to be pretty dead pretty soon. Like, if it's not already, like, damn near in the grave.
I think it'll make a little bit of a rebound. I think the traditional mall experience is dead, though. Like, I don't think you can take traditional malls, but, like, the mall down here in Brickell does pretty well, but it's, like, it's a vertical mall. It's scenic.
Yeah.
It's in like a nice area, but like the mall kind of, I can think of a mall like where it's like very flat and spread out. It's just all inside.
A lot of walking, a lot of
Yeah, and it's literally just, there's no experience to it. It's just shopping. I think that's super dead.
So that experience is dead. And so when I was talking to this dude last night, I was like, all right, so my thesis on like at least what you could do with like Sunset Place, for example, is the retail shopping experience in a location like that is dead, specifically because like the city center is in the middle of downtown, right? So this is it's an experience, right? So it's first of all, it's in a high tourist traffic area. So like a lot of tourists are going to come to downtown. They want to, go experience something like very luxury. They might not even have something like that luxurious in their city or whatever. But the mall experience, at least with malls that aren't in like high tourist traffic areas, are going to be more like, I think they should be converted into like social spaces where it's like you have all of this retail like real estate, right? You have all of these storefronts, convert like 80% of that mall into like social experiences like arcades, bars, whatever the case may be, for locals, because like the locals in that area, you can talk to pretty much anybody in that area around Sunset Place, and they're unanimously like, dude, I never thought this mall would go down. Like, this was my hangout spot. Yeah. And so like the concept of like a hangout spot or like an area where you can just go and be social, like I feel like that's gonna take over for where malls used to be. Whereas like we're gonna do a ton of our shopping online. That's just where we're headed as a society. So like, what do we put in real life to substitute for the shopping experience? Like the shopping experience is going to be online, so we might as well make the social experience, which, a lot of people are saying like social media has killed like, the social experience. Like people are pretty much to themselves, whatever. Turn these old malls into like big social areas. They're building a big like social area out by, that place we used to film, we filmed at down by like Biscayne.
Yeah. They're
building up like a whole like big social area around that area. You got like, what's this place? Oasis in Wynwood.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like a big...
Oasis is dope.
Oasis is dope.
Yeah.
So like spots like that where it's like you got like different bars and like food vendors and a whole bunch of different stuff where people can just go and just like be social, like an adult hangout spot. I feel like that's what we should just convert the bulk of our malls into.
Yeah, like a combination of food and music and like kind of like a park. I think like
An arts and culture center, even.
yeah, you need like an arts and culture center for sure. Like there should be like it'd be dope to go to a spot and like you have like people who are like, you know, skateboarding and shit and maybe like dancers, but then there's also like food nearby and like some of these things that like people wouldn't necessarily mash together, but just like start mashing it together in one big ass space and like park and like greenery and stuff, you know, and like that would be a dope area to go to. Like, yo, let's just go to the park and see what's or like the social space and see what's popping today, you know, because who knows what the heck is going on. I think that would be dope, but I do think
originally
that, like,
that's what Wynwood was, right? Which is like it was just a mashup of a bunch of different like people and different like subcultures
yeah,
of like people that live in Miami. So like when I was skateboarding and Wynwood first like started to pop up, like me and all the homies used to just skate through Wynwood. There was nothing even to skate at that time, but we would just skate through Wynwood. And like there was just a bunch of different people. There's people, you know, singing out on street corners. There's people doing, you know, comedy sets. Like there's just random stuff happening all over Wynwood, right? And then now we're in what I like to call like late stage Wynwood, which is like all the people that invest in a particular area started to realize, hey, what's the one thing in this area that makes a lot of money? Clubs. So we're just going to keep building club after club after club after club and maybe put some restaurants here and there. And now all of that stuff that originally drew people to Wynwood is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
So,
and what's crazy is like these are like very like I love going out too. Like I am a nightlife person, but I'm a dancer, right? I like dance. I like going to places with like good music, good DJs. But bro, like so many. This is like across America, even like the whole club scene. New York actually had the whole little side tangent, but like New York's club scene died for a minute too. But there's like a lack of good DJs that can like vibe with a crowd and like produce a set that makes people want to dance to, bro. It's actually crazy to me how many times you go out and DJs will just be like playing music. And like nobody's, I'm like, how
there's not a lot of crowd work.
How as a DJ are you just playing music? And I feel like there's like this thing where DJs like, oh, they're just not vibing. It's like, bro, like people,
you create the vibe.
People
like
come out to dance and like to feel good, like, and you are the curator, like you are the man with the mat. I don't know. So, anyways,
I feel like our generation too, though, like we got, I don't know about you, but I got started in the whole club scene like at like 16, dog. And so it's kind of played out for me personally. And I know plenty of other people that feel the same way, where it's just like the whole like going to the club thing got played out pretty fast.
Definitely not trying to go
because
and
we
like
oversaturated. Like we overdid it.
Yeah.
We overdid it super hard, especially here.
Well, we were in like the best time. Like I got in a dance battle with an NFL player, bro. Like at peak clubbing, which would never happen today. Like you would never today go out to a club and just see, you know, an NFL player and like a bunch of people on the dance floor just dancing and vibing. Like it doesn't happen today, right? It's very cliquey. It's very social. It's very, ooh, let me get a photo. Like I would be down to go to a place if they said
fucking photo op, dude.
No phones.
And I'm a photographer, dog. I get it. Like
Yeah.
I get flick up.
Nope.
Like flick up and then get back to like the actual like real life. You know what I mean?
They should just have like a booth in the club where like someone will take your photo for you, and like it's free. Like you pay the cover, and part of the fee is like they take your phone, they'll do the photos, right? But you just fucking dance, bro. Because like it's too many people go out to be seen, and it's because of social media. Like because of social media, you're always worried about the people that follow you instead of the people around you, and so it's like we need to like get back to connecting with people in real life, because it's like, and that's part of why people aren't social. It's just like, oh, I have this online club, but it's like, what about the people right here? Like these motherfuckers right here.
Yeah, and nobody talks to anybody.
Right.
I feel like everybody, and a weird thing too is like everything, at least on Instagram, everything is like super professional. Like everybody, every single person is on like their what used to be considered like a media run or like a PR run, whereas like professional photos and like high quality. And mind you, this is what puts money in my pocket. So like I'm chatting shit on what pays my bills, but
Yeah.
everybody wants like the highest quality stuff. And you remember when Instagram first came out and everything looked like dog shit? But it was real,
Bro,
though.
my first photo, it was a like HDR photo of a stack of toilet paper on my Instagram profile. Then my second photo was like I got into macro photography. So I was taking like macro photography of like a keyboard and like all these artistic and like just had random photos of like so SIUE in Southern Illinois University. Beautiful campus, right? Tons of like natural trails, and I had a lot of photos of just like outdoors. Like you would never just take a photo of a tree and post it today.
No.
But, like that was a lot. Like people be like, "What?" But like that was a lot of my stuff on my profile was just like because I literally just like photography, and I was like taking like this is a cool photo, and you would share it.
Even
like,
yeah,
like,
even,
now
when,
it's
even
like,
if you go back on my profile to like my early photography, it's all just like random street photography where I was just taking pictures of people just walking down the street, or like nice pieces of architecture that I would see, or like a bunch of stuff. And then like with the advent of you can literally like if you scroll through my Instagram and scroll down to the bottom, you'll watch the progression of how social media influenced what I was taking photos of throughout my career.
Right.
Whereas like it started out as a hobby, obviously, and I'm just taking pictures of wherever the fuck I'm at any given time. So Philly, New York, wherever the fuck I was at. And then it transitioned into bitches.
transition into bitches.
Swear to God. Oh, like it was you dog, it's a
New interests develop over time.
I gotta actually show
You're
you.
just grown up. It started out with this, and then it turned into bit.
It's such a hard shift too, because when you see it, you're like, "What the fuck happened here?"
That is funny as hell, bro.
And it was bitches for a long time, dog. Like that was just that's what got me my following, right?
I mean, that's what gets a lot of people they're following.
So it started out with like
Yeah,
cool, interesting shit that I would just see on the
nice
street.
car. That's a cool little subway
I went
photo.
to go see Lil Wayne. Got a
Yeah,
bitches,
booty cheek. First sign of cheeks.
bitches.
All right, coming
bitches,
up. Yep.
bitches.
Okay.
Just the homie again.
Some more homies in there.
Bitches.
Okay, nice.
Bitches. Just because this is what was getting people followers or whatever. So at the time I was like, I want to do this as a career, so I might as well do whatever is going to get me a whole bunch of followers.
It would be a cool app. I've even thought about building this, but I wanted like a photography app where there's some twist on it, but like a twist basically where you can't ever see how many likes anything has, and you can't see how many followers anything has, but you can still search by tags and things like that, right? So there's still an algorithm, but you would never be able to go to someone's profile and see within the app.
There's no like social proof of anything.
Yeah, there's very low social
raw
proof.
talent. Whoever's the most talented,
Right?
Who's getting.
And you could comment and stuff like that. But I wanted to make it a requirement to interact, right? One of the problems with Instagram today is like apps develop like a culture. Like so TikTok is more interactive. It's more raw. Originally Instagram today is very like people will like double tap, like don't comment, like, and that's just like part of the culture of Instagram now. So I wanted to be like you can't like photos or like even like post photos unless you first comment on a photo. So make it like you got to put something in to get something out. So like I don't know the exact twist, but kind of like that way to compel people like, yo, if you're going to be on this platform, you have to interact with
Like
photos.
you're not allowed to scroll to the next thing unless it's kind of like a Tinder scenario where like you can't see the next thing without at least like either liking or disliking the current thing.
Right. Like every like maybe like you
like
could skip 2
commenting
photos,
on the current thing.
but then it's just like, hey, talk about this piece from so and so, something like that. I still want people to have like the choice, and like even that would probably develop its own meta where people would just start leaving comments like a letter or something like
L.
Yeah, just like
We both immediately went
this is an L. But
L photo.
I think that would be an interesting take, and I'll at least be interesting to see what actually does develop. Because it's hard. It's hard to find photos, bro. Like here's the worst part about algorithms. It's with YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Is the discover features don't work. Like they just show you what you've seen. But it used to be you scroll and you would just see you would see shit you hadn't thought of. It was like, oh, I didn't know I was into fucking photographies of canyons or of like underwater sea, like, but this is stuff I'm thinking of. You would see stuff you didn't think of. That's the problem. Now it's like I don't know what to search for. I go to my Discover page and it's just people breakdancing and like random art shit and fitness. Like I'm not discovering anything.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing new. There's nothing new here. It's trying to tailor. It's trying to tailor the experience to what you already like, and instead of trying to get you to like new shit.
Right.
I was a big fan of Tumblr back in the day. Like Tumblr was my jam.
Yeah.
And like what I liked about it was like it was a super like you were reposting other people's stuff, and like it was a super cool way to like see like what other people liked and like develop tastes based on that, where it's like if I had a homie and like I follow, you know, my homies for like skateboarding shit, but every now and again they'll repost something that has nothing to do with anything that they usually post. Like they'll just repost either like some funny shit or whatever the case may be. And it's like, all right, and follow down that rabbit hole. And then through following down that rabbit hole, I would end up in another rabbit hole of something completely different. And by the time I was done being on Tumblr, I was like 16 degrees of separation from where I even started. And that's what I used to like about like pre-algorithm scrolling, was like on Instagram, pre-algorithm, everybody was kind of like, there was no incentive to niche down into like posting one specific thing, because you weren't looking for people to like come and try and find you. Yeah. Like you were just posting what was literally going on in your life, and the feed was literally just the most recent thing that the people that you're following posted in chronological order. There was no algorithm. There was just no algorithms, just vibes.
It's a vibe. Everything's curated now. People's profiles are very, you know, at a time it was novel. Like you go to someone's page and if their posts were ordered, you're like, oh, that's cool. Because they like, it was a new idea. But then it became the standard where it's like, oh, well, if your page isn't like pixel perfect, then Instagram's like algorithm wouldn't let people see your stuff if your stuff was like just creative stuff you put out there. And so it like forces everybody to act a certain way. Yeah. And now that it's the culture in the app, you can't go back. That's a big thing. Like Instagram's trying to shift, but it's like you've created a metagame already. People who got popular are invested in that game. Same with YouTube. There's
a lot
platform.
of money in that game too. I feel like Instagram now is what magazines used to be for like the previous generation.
Wow, yeah.
Where like it's pretty much just like an editorial, where like you're seeing like celebrity news. You're seeing, you know, it's a tabloid magazine on your phone. Yeah, that you just
people and
an endless tabloid magazine, and everybody in their mind at least is a niche micro celebrity. Yeah. So like they're all trying to validate their celebrity status in this magazine.
Dude, I got in a random. I just remember a TikTok argument. I have like 6 TikToks in a row responding to this one.
Oh, person. Was it that one lady that commented like 30 times on one video?
Dude, she commented like 30 times.
I saw that shit.
and then eventually she blocked me.
I looked at the video and I was like 6 likes, 32 comments. I was like, how does that make sense? And then I scroll through the comments and it's all one person. I was like,
numbered.
Dude.
She numbered them too. The craziest part was I was like, yo, so we were originally we were talking about this. There's a whole story. We're talking about this dude named Jeff Mead. Who's a black creator who I put more in like he's a Candace Owens light, right? But
my favorite kind.
I don't really dislike him. I just really disagree with how he packages his content, and that's the argument I was making. She comes on and is like, you just have a victim mindset, blah 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 blah. So I'm responding in videos because it's literally faster than what she's doing, which is like literally 45 comments, guys, across videos. She was like, every video, there was the first one had 35.
Didn't she eventually block you and then all those comments were for nothing?
Yeah. And I was like, yo, just make a video. She's like, you're twisting my words. You knew I meant, I was like, look, if you want to make a full argument, record a video. And she's like, I don't have time for that. I'm like, you obviously have a lot of
time.
Because like my video, you could see as my videos progress, you could see me going about my day. Like first I'm here.
The backgrounds are all different.
Then I'm going to Chipotle.
I'm at the coffee shop. I'm at Chipotle.
Bro, that's literally was like, going to Chipotle. I'm changing
I'm on the
outfit.
couch. I'm playing video games. Whatever the case may be.
And she's going ham. And then I think the reason she got fed up is because other people came in and started being like, yo, like, why don't you just...
Are you good?
But she was... Bro, it was the craziest thing because it really showed that, like,
I watched that whole progression of events. Mind you, like I'm just like scrolling through TikTok and I see one video response to her.
Yeah.
And I saw all the comments under it. And I was like, holy shit, this lady's crazy.
This girl was wilding, bro. But the funniest thing too was like, she's like, you just have a victim mindset, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I literally make content talking about like, and I'm talking very matter of fact. It's like, look, a lot, like watch my content. Like I talk about like being accountable and not focusing on blah, blah, blah. I just don't think that you can motivate people by only saying negative things. Like specifically the black community is like, I don't think you could, like saying like you're trying to help kids by only sharing videos of like bad shit happening in the hood. Like that's not actually helpful. Like you could just post
that doesn't motivate me. It just like drives me to realize how shit my situation is.
Right, like that was the gist of what I'm saying. And I literally said, I don't hate the accountability take. It's like this is what I talk about. But like it shows how people on the internet, like she literally kept making the same art. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like what do you, it was crazy. It's like the ignorance fueled with like mania.
45 comments is insane work. I haven't there's nothing I could comment on 45 times. Like there's no fucking, even if there was no, character limit, I couldn't go. I couldn't.
I was thinking she must have Gen Z hands because like I can't even type that much that fast. Like I grew up with like we had we started with touch buttons. So even today I like mess up. I have to like fix my text all the time.
Oh, did you ever have a sidekick?
With like this
the flip up, the flip up screen. If you had a sidekick at my high school, you were a bad motherfucker.
Hanging out words, bro.
You were. Everybody with a sidekick in 2008 was a bad motherfucker. No, not 2008. That was like 2004.
We're approaching an hour.
We're running up on time, guys. We kind of just rambled on, but
there's something you want us to talk about. Just wherever you're seeing this, just leave a comment. Send me a DM. Text me.
Hit me up.
Call me.
I got a poll right now out on Instagram of people asking questions for the next podcast. So I'll see you all on that next episode. Shout out to anybody that watches this. And on that note,
deuces. But also, I'm gonna put this at the beginning. Like and subscribe to this video.
Subscribe right now.
Hit the notification bell.
The button's somewhere.
Send this to your friends and tell them to subscribe. And if you do, and you tell me about it, I will send you $5.
Referral program. It's live. We're running it.